Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. This is another live stream, the first one in English. I'm Italian, pardon my accent. So, this is one of the many deep dives I'm going to make about various topics that I need to research for my paintings and stuff. Um, this one is for one of my projects, the main one that I'm going for right now. It's just like basically looking at animal behaviors, having some ideas based on that, and then just having some sort of stuff that will translate into a painting. So, this is mainly an intellectual exploration. Do not take anything like this is just to look at stuff. We just look at it. My opinion outside of this. Basically that. So I think this is the main disclaimer. It's going to be a slow video. Let's just take a chill hour looking at some infos and then also take some notes. See what we can get out of it, basically. So a lot of thinking will be involved. I will start um, with saying something. So let me first share the screen because I need my notes. Okay, so first thing first. One thing that I already read about the bees, which I want to jot down is basically they are like one of the huge components of their decisions. It's like it's the group wiseness. Like most of the bees in a colony will go somewhere. Like try like let's say one of the things that I've read this thing in a paper about temperature regulation of bees. Basically, the bees start like were in I don't know maybe a Roma thing, and they needed to find the patch that was like the ideal temperature for them. So they started looking around. Like some of them just went out like crazy direction and stuff, but slowly like a group formed in like the correct spot. So the other bees started like look at the main mass of their companions, and they started to flock there. So they basically are very like other do, I do. I see what other are doing, I copy it. Um, which it's like so let me I see. So this idea is is something I have to say because I've also heard about like people say about don't just blindly conform to an idea because it's there like yeah it's in Italian. So yeah you like you want to conform to a degree. To be honest, it's also like based on the culture as well. If there's a more individualistic culture, you're going to see like people encouraging the individual. If they have more like a community focus, it's going to be like yeah let's think more among others, like keeping the group nice and well and stuff like that. So So yeah, this like I think bees, they are in a more communal structure. For example, um, also, can we find in can we find something like that in other animals? Because that like dogs have some like specific way of managing their own way, like the group. Like I don't, I just know that like maybe wolves like have a something akin to like an apology. If I've just heard this once. I don't even know if it's true. By the way, I'm not an expert in any of this. I'm just, I'm just looking at stuff. So look at this collective wisdom because I think it's very related to how bees, like at least that thing that I've heard about bees, which and this is like so conform or rebel. So this also is like looking at this spectrum of conform or rebel or like go against something, which is always, I think it's a big question to ask because like conforming to something is also allowing it in a way. Going against something could mean you are denying it or like partially agreeing with it. So, for example, like in World War II, if people rebelled like against some well-known ideology, like if the whole country was against it, then they wouldn't have a problem. So they conform to that, but that is also kind of a bad example to be honest, because I don't know much of the detail, but he reached some consensus. So people were kind of convinced about it. Conforming to an idea, yeah, I mean, it can be like, I agree with the explanation, even like it depends. If you can get behind something, you can conform, or maybe you can conform for like different reasons. Like I don't like eating broccoli, but I'm not going to rebel against it because it's good for me, for my health. So I'm going to conform and eat broccoli, something like that. So it's like, how do you conform? Like the reasons why. Also, why do you rebel as well? Because there are people who rebel against something for various reasons. Like you can rebel against oppression, or you can conform to oppression. Like it's it's widely regarded that it's a better idea to rebel against oppression because you shouldn't encourage it. Good, I'd say. At the same time, it's also very dangerous. Like, or like either everybody does that, or there will be a lot of problems for people. It's going to be very dangerous. So that also is a very big question. I think, like, why it, the way I'm saying it may come down to the specific details of a situation, like of an individual, even. In general, a it is a good idea to conform as well. And like when is a good idea to rebel? Also, like when this is more personal. So, me conf So this is the question: is it generally better to conform? Like, one thing that I've heard, like in investing, in day trading and stuff, is that the better performing people usually conform to a like market movement in the financial market. So this is another example in which conformity pays off. But like numbers should be needed to make this consumption. So let's go back and read a bunch and see if we can get to something. Also called grouped wisdom of co-intelligence, shared knowledge are had by individuals and groups with collaboration. Okay, so it implies collaboration, and bees are very strong in that they are as collaborators in nature. They're very good at it. Collective intelligence, which is sometimes used synonymously with of a shared decision process. So it's more a collective intelligence, no? And collective intelligence is not uniquely human, okay, and has been associated with them. Okay, there it is. Collective intelligence is basically consensus-driven decision making. There it is. Collective wisdom is not necessarily focused on the decision process. Collective wisdom is more amorphous phenomenon which can collective learning over time. Okay, so now I discovered that I'm co-intelligence, collective intelligence, rather than collective wisdom. Collective wisdom is also a human thing, it seems, though it may be interesting to see. Collectivism, should we say, to have a more distinctly human quality than collective intelligence, is contained in such early works as Bible. It was Plato. No? Wow. And the many mates of the land. Drawing from the point of collective wisdom, you are more enjoyable to understand the human being, whereas the point of collective intelligence, like, is to make life easier and enjoy through the application of acquired knowledge. Okay. While collective intelligence may be said to have more mathematical and scientific basis, what? Collective wisdom also accounts for the spiritual realm of human behavior and consciousness. So there's the question. A national best defense is an education system. Yeah, fair. The idea of democracy is that government functions best when everyone participates. Interesting. Um, British philosopher Thomas Hobbes used the Leviathan to say how mankind collecting consciousness grows to create collective wisdom. That society, by definition, constitutes higher intelligence because it transcends the individual over space and time, thereby achieving collective wisdom. Okay. So collective wisdom is like more about behavior than decision. So is it more? Is it like I? Mm, half so. Um, Collective intelligence. So, so collective wisdom is present in in us, maybe because we have self-awareness. Is it linked to that? So can other self-aware animals like develop this over time? I don't know. Weird idea, to be honest. But this is to reinforce like a difference has been observed. Let's see if others contemporary definition and research. The application to collective intelligence. Now let's see. Collective intelligence share of group intelligence G that emerges from collaboration, collective effort, and competition of many individuals and appears in consistent decision making. Consistent making. What does it say? It's always to make a process in which participants work together to develop a proposal of action. Okay. Okay, so yeah, consensus decision making is like a group that brainstorms something and then something gets selected in a way and then it gets applied even though not everyone is on board with it. Well, this works in a society without communication. So let me say that communication changes like bees don't. I don't think they speak with each other. So the term appears sociobiologically, political science, in the context of mass peer review and crowdsourcing. It may involve consensus, social capital, and formalism, such as voting. Okay, social media. What? Unless of quantifying mass activity. The collective IQ is a measure of collective intelligence, although it is often used interchangeably with the term collective intelligence. Collective intelligence has also been attributed to bacterial animals. Exactly. It can be understood as emergent property for synthesis of data, information, knowledge, software. Those with new insight as well as they continue to learn from the feedback and produce just in time a better decision than these three animals. Understood as an immersion probably between people in way of processing information. The notion of collective intelligence refers to a symbiotic intelligence, the concept used in sociology, being from mass communication. It also appears in science fiction. Define collective intelligence, it's a form of universally distributed intelligence, constantly enhanced, coordinated in real time, and resulting in effective mobilization of skill. I read the following expressbook. The basic goal of collective intelligence is mutual recognition and enrichment of individuals rather than the cult of fetishized hypostat. What? The what? Oh, you. Let's see. Try. Oh, treat or present as a concrete. Huh? To regard. Okay. Okay. So going back, we're going to reach rather than the cost. Okay. According to the present period, it has the capacity of network ECTs, information. Okay. To enhance the collective pool of social expanding the extent of human interaction, a broader definition of private in a series of lecture propose a framework for analyzing and thinking systems machine intelligence in terms of functional elements. So learning loops and form of phrases. The aim is to provide a way to diagnose and improve the collective intelligence. Yeah. What can as something that is seeing? I mean, other than the definition here, yeah, it's like this collective intelligence, like it's just an explanation. Yeah, it's shared collective intelligence contribute to the shift of knowledge and power from the individual to the collective. In today's society, it's very present, I think, with the internet. Very present to a outside. Another thing that I want to mention is the social is the collaboration social. Sure. So the collaboration of social structure, like I mean, a group of people that decide to collaborate with each other. It seems to be a very strong strategy of doing stuff, like existing. It seems also very powerful. Like this also like this thing is like hatched into my mind, like the experiment that they did with the computers algorithm and stuff, which they tested and they came out with the answer that generally you need to it's better to collaborate with others and then to like not do so when the other person like stops doing it, but then go back to collaboration if they go back to collaboration. So I think it just reinforces the fact that like having a group of people that collaborate is very strong, so in a survival way. And this is another bonus on top of that. So what can I say other than this? Collaboration is also very complex, I'd say, because like you need to like each action of collaboration and non-collaboration needs to be weighted. So for example, let's just say that I know a guy, and this guy, I work with this guy. Okay, let's just say I work with this guy. Okay, we are just working together. But then outside of the job, he like starts bad mouthing me. Let's just say that. So it's collaborative in a specific situation, but it's not collaborative in another. So how do you treat that? So it's still going to damage the main thing that you're doing with him. So it's not going to be good. Then you want to get rid of that or something. So it's pretty bad. So we go back and say how bad like a egoistical, like something like that, not necessarily egoistical, but like someone doing something that goes against your interest is not collaborative. Like how bad it is also impacted by how you see something important, like what is important to you. So values priority and what's important. What you, I don't know, influences so let's do that. Let's see if we can find something. Okay, there's something else here. So, power of the individual to collect. Okay. So, wait. Open source intelligence. Yo, okay. Speaker. Media. Whoa. The source of media power. People learning interpretation, knowledge, culture outside. Formal learning side here. Yo, that's why you do like peer review and stuff as well, maybe. Like you have a group of researchers. It's extremely, it's like comparatively, it's like way better than having one guy doing it. So that's like insane. That's insane. I start to understand why group strategies are way more dominant. It seems to be that way at least. Problem solver. One main offer to learning is what they claim that collective intelligence is important for democratization as it interlink with the knowledge-based culture and sustained by collective ideas and thus contribute to a better understanding of diverse society. Similar to the G factor, what is that? Is a concept developed by cognitive vision human intelligence. It's a very less positive correlation among different cognitive tasks. I maybe I've heard of this thing already. It's a concept developed by Sigmund Freud and cognitive vision human intelligence. It's a way that summarizes positive correlation among different cognitive tasks, reflecting the type of cognitive intent to be compared to the person performing other kinds. See, okay, yes, okay. The G factor is something that is related to the theory of the intelligence that we have right now of IQ as well. It's basically if you are good in one thing, you may be good in other stuff as well. A new scientific understanding of collective intelligence aims to establish a general collective intelligence factor, the C factor. The ability to perform. Wow. This methodology is a interrelated of courses of groups, even though the score is not a quotient. As well. Let's just see if there is a. There is a lot to look at here, okay? There is a lot. That's why like reviews are so impactful. Market judgment, going back to money. Cooperation of network of group of expert data information knowledge how to solve your worry. The global future collective intelligence project which epitomizes collective intelligence as the synergistic interaction among data, information, and knowledge. Okay. Software, hardware, and recursive learning process for better decision making. Yes, no. New media are often associated with collective intelligence, the ability of media to easily store and information predominantly through database and the internet allows for it to be shared without defeat. Thus, the media knowledge easily passes between sources, resulting in a form of collective intelligence. The use of interactive media, particularly in the internet, promotes online interaction, distribution not between users. Okay. Among those who view collective intelligence through the lens of computer science and cybernetics, in their view, the internet enables collective intelligence at the widest planetary scale, thus facilitating the element of global brain. Yo. Is a neuroscience partner for the planetary information and communication technology network, humans and their technological artifacts. This network stores even more information. Oh my god, this is like a science fiction. But this is it is interesting. So, technology enhances arc. Okay, so yeah, that's that. So, okay. But one thing that I begin to ask myself, so let's just say that there's a decision and we have like a group of people and we need to decide what to eat for dinner. Okay. Now, the thing that I say, so since we have like a group of people, so let me draw actually. Let me actually draw on my tablet. So let's just say that we have some people. Okay, and we need like some ingredients. We have we have like I have it with broccoli. We have broccoli. We have meat. Let's do like steak. We have beans. We have fish. So we have a bunch of food. So let's say these two people say, let me pick broccoli and beans. Then we have a cheeseburger. Okay. Slice of pie. These three people say, give me the pie. And this dude says, the cheeseburger. So here the majority is skewing the decision. The majority skews the decision here. So at the end of the day, if we go by majority alone, we just say, so the majority pie. But there is the argument of saying like, no, it's a better idea to eat the broccoli and the beans because it's like healthy, doesn't have as many carbs, it's more nutritious. So like a selective minority says like So let me see that. And the smallest minority say I'm cheeseburger. Okay. So like this is one case, but this decision is like there is this evening, there's tomorrow evening, the other, the other, the other, the other, the other, the other. So this starts to involve also like the average, what's present. Like maybe this dude would have loved to eat sushi, but it's not an option. Jesus, oh, this is way more. This is way more complex than I thought it would be. Oh man. So so this is why you don't start thinking a lot about stuff anyway. So let's just say that we have a lot of different factors to consider. There are various factors that limit the choice as well. That ideally you are aware, because like being in this situation, I think like as I relate this to my life, I'd say the best way to make a choice is to know all the options that you have, like like all of them, know the consequence of each, and then pick based on your situation as well, which is something to think about. It's not that, I mean, it could be immediate, it could be easy, to be honest. It just depends how much you can hold in your head, how much do you know. Um, so, what am I trying to say is basically there's a lot of thing, there's like a lot of information that like comes to a good decision. And now the majority can ruin a decision, basically. So what I'm trying to say is like the majority can ruin, and then you go back to like, so what happens then? Sometimes it does, other times it doesn't, because like most, like in America, a lot of people are obese. So does that mean that the group intelligence is bad regarding food? I don't know. I'm just asking. So let's just say this. So, um, problems in society and group intelligence. Does it mean that there's a problem in that group? Like a collective, no, collective, I don't know, it's ignorance, like lack of information, like collective, like collective, I don't want to say some bad words. Collective, let's say collective ignorance. It's not appropriate, but it's something. So there's like selection of the better ideas. So there are like, it's because if we have one group here, like it then just starts becoming of something like, if this group then choose the pie, and over time the health drops, like, but then there is also this group of people that picks these two most of the time and is doing better. And like the health, like it's stable and it's higher. So these guys will say, "Oh, damn! Oh, yo, let's look at these guys. They're living better than us. Let's do as they do." So this then reinforces the idea that copying something that is working is a good idea. Okay, like duplication is a good idea for survival in general. But like one thing, like it doesn't work in a like in the economy, like in the economy, it works to a degree. Does that happen in nature as well? And how much of a how much of generalization can be made from one field to another? Like, for example, in nature, let's say that we have like 10, we have these guys, and they like we have a group of guys wake up, like hunts a deer, they kill the deer and they eat the deer. So they just do this. Every deer is in danger. Then we have the guys that just these guys. Wait, no. So this guy just goes out and eats apples. So this guy has a lot of apples. His strategy changes the demand. Like in this situation in which all of these people do this, so he's in a better spot. This guy is in a better spot. Yes, so because he like there are more apples for him. So as I recall, I once heard that economics is more of like decision making in a like it's a decision making when the resources are limited. So for example, you have limited apples, you have limited years, you have limited time and limited energy, and then you watch, like you take into account all of those, you see what's better overall, then you do that, and that becomes the dominant strategy. And that's that. That's something. So that's interesting. And this is economics. Like when you make decisions with limited information. We were talking about behavior. Does that apply as well? To a degree. Like when you start framing the behavior in such a way that you consider the limited resources that your behavior starts to affect, you then take into account what behavior does best in a limited situation, and then you can go back to the economics, for example. So how much of a generalization can be? Right now, let's just say that it goes when okay, so we can apply economics to behavior. but also, like for example, let's just say hypothetically that we have a utopia in which almost everyone is like very as like a defined morality of good, and they follow it. Following this principle, we can say that if we have one bad guy, this guy is gonna be very happy. Like, mhm, he's gonna be a happy devil, very happy, because he like everybody is good. He's just the bad guy. These guys, though, they're gonna tear him apart. To be honest, because if you're bad in a overwhelmingly good, um, like a very good group, and people are not stupid, you're gonna get like destroyed. To be honest, in a bad way. So that also discourages the bad actors. Hmm. But also, like, there's he also has like a theoretically, like if we try to understand which resources can wait, does this mean that there is a level of like infinite something in this situation? Because something isn't limited. Maybe it's because it's like an hypothetical situation which like there is like there people are limited, okay, but the behavior doesn't impact the that is not impacted by that limitation of people. And with this, I'd say it's this live on this deep dive. There is always a lot to look at. To be honest, I'm just giving myself headaches at this point. But it is to have ideas and explore and learn more. It's for a good cause, I'd say, for now at least. So this is another live, another deep dive. Let's just see. Probably gonna do some more in the next days, not tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. I will keep going from this point on. Thank you for joining if you did, and take care. Goodbye.